speech. These guys, they enforce rule of law, and then our prosecutors like Guillermo here, they work their tail off to put people away for a long time. So, Guillermo, I'll let you say a few words if you'd like.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I just want to echo what has been said here. This is a complete team effort, a team victory. It starts with the leadership and tone set at the top with the Attorney General, with our outstanding statewide prosecutor, Brad McVay, our Chief Assistant, Brian Fernandez, and my trial partner in this case, Reed Haley. Suffice it to say that the defendants here tried to delay justice by playing games, but justice was delayed, but it wasn't denied, and they're going to get the sentence that they deserved. There was over 300 grams of cocaine found in Mr. Rogers' apartment where he lived, and cocaine found at the trap house where Ms. Savage ran his business. And a trap house is a place that's run exclusively to sell drugs. And at the end of the day, what the jury heard, what was beyond a reasonable doubt, was that you had call after call where Mr. Rogers was talking to Ms. Savage. They were talking about the drug debts that were owed. In fact, the jury in one call heard Ms. Savage run after a customer, screaming at him that he hadn't paid what he owed. So this was clear. There was a sophisticated surveillance system at that trap house. This wasn't your regular ADT Simply Safe. This was a commercial level security system. And in a surreal moment when law enforcement came in to execute that search warrant, they saw their marked units outside in the big screen TV that showed all the inside and outside cameras. So they knew exactly what they were doing. And I would just finish, because I wouldn't be remiss if I said that for a lot of people, they think, well, drug sales, drug trafficking, that's a victimless crime. It's anything but victimless. This destroys communities, it tears apart families, and it leads to violence. And in Florida, that is just not tolerated. So with that, I'll turn it back to the Attorney General.
I do want to conclude by thanking many members of the legislature for working hard on Missy's law. For those of you who don't remember, a tragic situation here where an individual was convicted by a jury of child molestation. A judge then abused discretion, and over the objection of the state attorney, released this dangerous guy back into society, and he went and smothered to death, murdered a little girl. It's tragic. This should never happen. Somebody that's a violent offender, somebody that is found guilty by the trier of fact, should never be allowed to walk freely into society. So we're going to tie up this loophole. It shouldn't exist in the first place. It's terrible that we had to have this tragedy occur, but if there's any good to come out of it, it's pushing forward with some good legislation. With that, time for a few questions, if anybody has. I don't know what I'm allowed to say publicly or not on that. I direct you to the state attorney's office. What I will say is what I've said from the beginning. Nobody did anything wrong, certainly no legal issues. I think this was a nothing burger complaint, as most everybody knew, certainly any competent lawyer. At the end of the day, you had a complaint brought by a legislator with some nefarious motives. I know that, Alan's a big fan of recreational marijuana use everywhere in public. The state took a policy position to oppose that, and the state was victorious. We protected the state from, tens or hundreds of millions in harm to criminal justice system, healthcare, you name it. So at the end of the day, I think it's a good result. We're tired of the distractions. We're here to put bad guys and predators away. Yes, ma'am, in the back. Like I said, I think I've said all I can. You got to go to the state attorney if you want more details. But again, nobody did anything wrong here. No indictments are out as far as I'm aware of. Yeah, was there another hand in the back? I've said what I can. Nobody did anything wrong. I think the state attorney might have additional quotes. Yes, ma'am. I'm right here in the back. As I've said before, you're going to have to talk to the state attorney. This was a nothing burger. I think that's pretty clear. Yes, ma'am. Sure. The question is about the validity of signatures for the Smart and Safe recreational marijuana campaign. My understanding, as reported by the Department of State, the Secretary of State, is that they were somewhere, I think, 50, 60,000 signatures short of the total needed to end up on the ballot. As far as my office's efforts to prosecute against fraudulently produced signatures, we believe in election security. We've got the #1 election integrity unit in the country. Our ballot, our Constitution is sacred. The law is the law. If somebody wants to get on the ballot, they've got to have about 880,000 signatures here. Many of them were getting dinged as fraudulent signatures. We were hearing from members of the public that they had not submitted the signatures that were on file. So at the end of the day, they didn't hit the number. Therefore, my office moved to withdraw the argument from the Supreme Court. I don't believe they've ruled on that yet, so they may still want to look at whether or not the ballot summary is indeed valid to go on the ballot. But at the end of the day, not enough signatures to go on the ballot. Yes, sir. Hold on. I'm going to go to somebody else. You've had a turn. Thank you. Yeah, the statute says that everything's got to be turned in by February 1. I believe we're past February 1. I don't see enough signatures at this point. So happy to look at their, if they want to waste, legal fees, so be it. We'll take them on in court. Yes, sir, in the very back. Ma'am, you've already asked a question. I'm going to go to some other people in the room. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you speak a little louder? Still having a little trouble here, and I think the question's on verification that somebody's here legally before they can get IDs. Here in Florida, you cannot get an ID being a specific bill, but I'm supportive of any effort to further protect our citizens and make sure that people are not getting behind the wheel of a car if they're not here legally. We saw some tragic situations across the country where people were not just given IDs in California, but they were given tractor-trailer IDs, which require a heightened level of training and skill. Some individuals were given these IDs without even being able to speak English. That can't happen. You've got to be able to speak English and read road signs on the roads in order to be around, our families that are just trying to go about their daily lives. And we've actually brought a lawsuit in the Supreme Court against California on their decision to do that, because they can be a sanctuary state. They can bring in illegals. They can do all that. I mean, it's wrong, and it is illegal, but it also hurts us. So they need to be held accountable, and I hope the United States Supreme Court will step in. Yes, ma'am. Nothing burger. All right. Thanks, everybody.